You've probably heard this quote before from Lao Tzu. Knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is true wisdom. Mastering yourself is true power. It's one of those things that sounds so simple, right? But it gets to the absolute heart of what we're talking about today. This idea that real, incredible strength isn't about controlling everything out there, but about finally understanding what's going on in here.
But let's be real. That ancient wisdom can feel like a world away when the self you know feels, well, broken. What if you're stuck in a cycle of addiction or shame, or that relentless inner critic just won't shut up? When you're in a battle with yourself, true power feels like the last thing you have. So today, we're going to go on a journey to find it.
So where does this internal fight even begin? Our first stop is to get to the bottom of this conflict. It's basically a war between two different versions of you, and it's this war that so often fuels those cycles of addiction and self-judgment.
Okay, so a psychologist named Carl Rogers had a really great way of looking at this. He said we all have two selves. On one side, there's your real self. That's just you, as you are right now, with all your honest feelings, your flaws, your potential, the whole package. But then there's the ideal self. And that's the person you think you should be. You know, the one shaped by your parents' expectations or what you see on social media, the one who never messes up.
And the bigger that gap gets between who you are and who you think you should be, the more tension you feel inside. It's this awful feeling of not measuring up, like you're a fraud in your own life. And that pain, that's what we so often try to numb. That's what leads to defensiveness, to behaviors that just push those two selves even farther apart. It's a total vicious cycle.
So how in the world do we break that cycle? Well, that brings us to the next part of our journey, making the choice to actually turn inward. But, and this is a big but, this time you're not going in there with a magnifying glass looking for flaws. You're going in with curiosity, just to understand.
And our number one tool for this journey is self-reflection. Now, this isn't just daydreaming. It's an active, intentional practice. Especially in recovery, this is how you start to see the patterns that have been holding you back. It's really the first crucial step toward building new habits and making change that actually sticks. But we have to be super careful here because there's a fork in the road. On one path, you have healthy reflection. Think of it as approaching yourself with curiosity, openness, acceptance, and love, a Cole attitude. It's all about learning. But the other path, that's rumination. That's its destructive cousin. It's when you just get stuck on a negative hamster wheel, replaying your mistakes over and over, hammering home this idea that you are bad. Knowing the difference between these two is absolutely key to making sure this inner work is actually healing you, not hurting you. All right, so as you start looking inward, you're going to need some allies. And the most powerful one you can possibly have isn't someone else. It's a totally new way of relating to yourself. It's time to arm yourself with self-compassion. I mean, just think about it for a second. When a good friend is struggling, when they mess up, what do? You don't yell at them or call them a failure. No, you offer support, kindness, a listening ear. Self-compassion is really just about turning that same exact instinct inward, especially in those moments when you feel like you've completely failed. So how do you actually do it? Well, it kind of boils down to three key things. First is self-kindness. That means swapping out that harsh inner critic for a voice of understanding. So instead of, I'm such an idiot, it's, wow, this is really hard and I'm doing my best. Second is common humanity. This is the big realization that you're not alone. Everybody struggles. Everybody makes mistakes. It's part of the human deal. And third is mindfulness, which is just about noticing your painful thoughts, like I'm a failure, without getting totally swept away by them. And let's just bust a huge myth right now. Self-compassion is not a get-out-of-jail-free card. It's not weakness. It's not an excuse. In fact, all the research shows the complete opposite is true. When you stop beating yourself up for mistakes, you're actually more likely to take responsibility for them, to learn from them, and, get this, to find the motivation to actually change. It is a profound source of strength. Okay, so this whole practice of self-compassion, it leads us somewhere really powerful. It leads us to the emotional core of all of this, to the big breakthrough moment. And that's discovering the incredible power of enough, of unconditional self-acceptance. Unconditional self-acceptance. That's a pretty radical idea, isn't it? It means that your basic fundamental worth as a human being is not up for negotiation. It's not dependent on your job title or your successes or your failures or what anyone else on the planet thinks of you. It's a constant. It just is. Now, accepting yourself doesn't mean you just ignore your flaws or pretend you never make mistakes. Not at all. It's about separating your actions from your identity. You can look at a behavior, admit it was wrong, feel genuine remorse, and commit to doing better, all without deciding that you, at your core, are the mistake. This little shift in language is a game changer. I am a person who acted badly, not I am a bad person. And that right there, that is the foundation of real, lasting well-being. It's that deep, quiet, internal sense that you are good enough right now. Not someday when you're fixed, but right now with all of your beautiful, messy vulnerabilities. When you start to build your life on that foundation of self-acceptance, something pretty amazing starts to happen. You stop trying to live the story you think you're supposed to live, and you finally start living your true one. And that brings us to the final part of our journey, self-realization. And we're not just talking about feeling a little better. The rewards here are real, they are tangible, and they change your whole life. You start to find a deeper purpose. Your relationships become more real, more authentic. You bounce back from setbacks faster. Your actions start to line up with what you actually believe in. And you become so much more free from worrying about what other people think. But it's so important to remember this. Self-realization isn't some finish line you cross and then you're done. It's a lifelong process. It's a commitment you make every single day to keep showing up as your true self, to keep learning, and to keep growing. And that practice, that's what gives you sustainable strength for the long road of recovery and for life itself. So we'll end with this thought. You have the greatest potential in the world to realize what you're capable of. This whole journey inward, facing that critic, choosing compassion, finding acceptance, it's all about unlocking the power that is already inside you. It's your journey to take. It's your power to claim. The only question left is, will you?